All right.
I thought he grabbed Esau's heel.
Right. He was born, Jacob was born second.
But he had his hand on.
He had his hand on the heel, so he was right behind him.
Oh, you said hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jacob's hand held Esau's heel. Okay. All right. So this person who's called Ish, who cheated, asked Jacob what his name is, and he says Yaakov. Possibly he knew already, but he wants Jacob to say it. Okay, then he says, Vayomer lo Yaakov, Ye'amer od Shimcha Ki'im Yisrael, Ki Sarita im Elohim, Va'im Anashim, Va'tuchal. Okay. Okay, so he said, your name will not be called yet, or that's supposed to be in English, try to unscramble that. And he said, thy name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for a prince hast thou power with God and with men that has prevailed. Okay. Now there are actually several meanings that we can get out of Israel here. Okay, so let's write that down. The meaning of the word Israel. Yisrael. Yisrael. Okay, I got that right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Dot over there. Okay. The ending meaning is obvious here. El, which means, we could write in English, God, or this if we want to indicate Hebrew. Okay, literally it means, root meaning will mean mighty, mighty one, great one, powerful one. Okay, but always typically used for God. Okay, this word here could be derived from the word sar. Sarah, to be a prince. So we talk about Sar Shalom. Okay. Also, it can be connected with the root meaning to struggle. Okay. So the idea here we can get is, from the sentence we get out of the name is, struggle of El. Okay, and we could take this this connection between the word, we could take it as with or against. Okay, so actually the name could be understood two different ways. Struggles with God, and even the English word with could be a little ambiguous. Struggles with God. In other words, either cooperating with the struggle to do what's right, or struggling against him. It can go both ways. Okay. All right. Struggles with God. Okay. So of course he was struggling with somebody who's called an Ish, who now apparently is telling Jacob, your name is struggles with God. So in the act of naming him, he's revealed who he is. This man has revealed who he is. Okay. Okay. El. Basically, by giving him the name Yisrael, he's saying, you have struggled with God. He asked Jacob what his name was, and then he gives Jacob a new name. He struggles with God. So here's the question: how does Jacob know who he was struggling with? It's an easy question.
And probably another human being wouldn't be giving him a new name and say that from now on you shall no longer be known as Jacob, but Israel.
Right.
Another human being wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And then he did say, you have wrestled, where is it now? You have struggled with God and with men and have overcome.
Right.
An ordinary man wouldn't have said, you have struggled with God.
Or possibly an angel either.
Okay. So maybe at this point David was thinking that this was
David.
some very make an angel or something. Okay. But
Daddy, did you say David?
no, Jacob.
No, you said David.
Well, somebody did. Okay.
You said it, not us.
Anyway,
Okay, quiet.
all right. So we had several clues as to how Jacob can know who he was struggling with. First of all, the name Yisrael. Okay. Struggle with God. The fact that he's told that the name means that he struggled with God. Okay. So Jacob is being told outright who the person is. Okay. No, this is important. Okay. I'm getting indications that I should not be so technical here.
You're repeating yourself.
It's okay.
I mean, like several times in the same sentence.
Too much grammar or something like
In
that.
the same
Too much
sentence.
grammar. Okay, let's go on to the next clause and then we can avoid dissecting all of this, okay? Next verse. Okay. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray, thy name. And he said, wherefore dost thou ask after my name? And he blessed him there. Okay. Literally, declare to me, I pray, your name. Okay. He blessed him there. Okay. Next verse. Okay. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel. Okay. So he named the place where the struggle took place Peniel. Okay, and Pani means face. Literally, it's plural, faces, but all body parts or parts are referred to in the plural in Hebrew. So it's face of El. Face of God. Okay? Face of God. Now, this word face is understood by Jacob in a literal sense, as we'll see in a moment here. Okay? He says, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Ki ra'iti Elohim panim el panim. Okay? This phrase, face to face. Panim el panim. Okay? Literally, faces to faces. Okay? Face to face. This one referring to Jacob's face. His face to God's face. And this is not the word for God here. This is actually the word for two. Pronounce El. Okay, El. Whereas this is pronounced more like Ale. Okay, slightly different pronunciation. And my life is delivered. Literally, he says soul. Okay, nafshi. Let's straighten this out. Nafshi. Okay, nafshi. Okay, naf meaning soul, breath, life, and this meaning me on the end. Okay. And the other word meaning preserved is the word for to deliver or rescue. Okay? And then it says, and he passed over Peniel, okay. actually, the place name is being used in verse 31 here. And it's being pronounced a little differently. Penuel, literally meaning more being the face of God. Okay. And he had a limp. Okay. Now I want to go back to some of these words here. Okay, now that's the literal level of interpretation. Okay, that I gave you. We have a man, an Ish, who ends up being identified as El, God, tells Jacob that he is. And not only that, but to the extent where Jacob he's amazed that he lived. Okay. This is like Hagar we were talking about before. Okay. Now I want to go to a different level of interpretation here. Hint of messianic prophecy, or hints. Okay, so the symbolical and the hint. Okay. So the first question is, when did Jacob get blessed? What time did Jacob get blessed
At
at?
dawn.
Right. Shachar. Jacob gets blessed. Okay. Now here's another question. How long did the struggle last? Or when was the struggle?
All night?
Yeah, all night. The struggle was all night. Okay.
That's an awful long time to struggle.
Ow.
Well, it was at night. Okay, so we have a period of time here, night. Okay. Draw a day here. This is dawn. Okay, the struggle is going here. Okay. Now, what does Jacob think he's struggling with? At least until his thigh gets struck.
One of Esau's men, I guess.
Yeah.
Or Esau. I don't know.
Possibly an enemy. He doesn't know who it is. He just knows that as he was getting ready to follow his family across the brook, somebody stood in his way
And the other people didn't notice he was
and
missing.
waylaid him.
How come nobody noticed he
Now,
was missing?
would an ordinary person stay behind to have a gratuitous wrestling match to see who's the better man
What did you
in a
just
situation like this?
You
You
said
know, like arm wrestling. Think about it, guys.
Robbers aren't normal
I'm
people.
pretty sure I heard you say something.
Would an ordinary
Sure, it's
man who
not
has a
even
family and he just sent him over to the
Okay,
brook
It doesn't even reach
and
my
he's planning to
list.
follow him, would he take time out to have an arm wrestling match with a complete stranger?
Probably not. I don't know.
That doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
So Jacob was waylaid.
Yeah, I might have thought it was Esau for a while.
Maybe Esau. Okay.
Let's have it one-on-one.
No, we don't want to speculate too much. Okay, but symbolically, what can these threats represent?
Possible death.
Death. Exactly right. Death. Okay. Now, we know that from Isaiah 53, we know it speaks of Yahweh. It says, and he was pleased to make him a guilt offering, an asham. Okay, so even though Yeshua laid down his life voluntarily, God set the forces in place that caused him to be offered. Okay? So this struggle is going on at night. Okay, now, Yeshua was in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. Okay. And the struggle with death ends at dawn. Okay. And not only that, but that's when we get the blessing of the resurrection. Okay. Also, that's when his disciples see him face to face. Okay. This is a symbolical, messianic level of interpretation. It's not literal. Okay, now, normally when people write, they only write on a literal level. Okay, and if you're a great writer, you do things that are called literary allusion. You put literary hints that remind people of things that you said before, like catchphrases or something. So you do that, and that's in great literature, okay? But in the scripture, we have 4 levels of interpretation, okay? I'm only talking about the first 2, okay? And not only can the literary hints go backwards, but they can go forward prophetically. Okay, there's a subjective element to this. Okay, and we can really only discern that there's an intent for the interpretation by going backward, or actually by seeing how the outcome was in the future. Okay, with Yeshua. Questions? Shoshana?
Yeah.
Boredom?
Oh.
Okay.
It's just you're.
Yes, Miriam? What?
It's hard to explain.
All right. You're going to have to get used to the camera, and I'm going to have to get used to it too. Because
Yeah.
being conscious of it and trying to talk to you guys at the same time, like I'm not talking to the camera.
Well, yes.
Probably they're always.
It's not that at all.
You want to cut the feed, Joseph?